We heard the statements expressed by MPs in Parliament today during the debate on the reports of the Presidential Commissions of Inquiry into the bond issue and also the serious acts of fraud and corruption of the previous regime. Now, various parties have also started to make explanations regarding the central bank treasury bond issue.
The chairman of the United National Party, Malik Samaravikrama, issued a statement after comments were made about fraud and corruption.
Malik Samaravikrama states the United National Party has implemented a program within the national government against individuals who take advantage of public enterprises for their personal benefit. He says the arrests, Perpetual Treasury's owner Arjun Aloysius and CEO Kasun Palisena are one step of this program. Samaravikrama goes on to say the party is working against people from the previous regime who embezzled public funds.
Well, Malik Samaravikrama is saying that the UNP is taking action against everyone who is corrupt in the previous regime. Now, before moving on Malik Samaravikrama, we must emphasize that right now a team of officers have been deployed to Dubai to bring back former Sri Lankan ambassador to Russia, Udayanga Weeratunga. Now, the police says this team includes one officer from the Financial Crimes Investigations Division, two officers from the Attorney General's Department, one officer from the Department of Immigration and Immigration, two officers from the Criminal Investigations Department, and one officer from the Foreign Ministry. Now, these officers are expected to leave the country tomorrow and go to Dubai and then follow the due process in order to bring back Udayanga Weeratunga.
But what about the incidents that surround Malik Samaravikrama himself? Maitri Gunaratna, attorney at law, had this to explain.
He thinks that the people of this country are incompetent. If you ask a fifth grader about the bond scam, that child will elaborate as to what has happened here. Malik Samaravikrama in his statement is trying to portray that it was the UNP who arrested the people involved in the bond scam. The UNP has always attempted to sweep this matter under the carpet. What did Ranil Wickremesinghe do? He appointed a committee of lawyers affiliated to the UNP and tried to hide this. Malik Samaravikrama is similar to Basil Rajapaksa of the former regime when it comes to deals.
Now, those are some strong words by Attorney at Law Maitri Gunaratna against the chairman of the United National Party, Malik Samaravikrama.
Those in government now and who were in opposition back then said that all of the Rajapaksa's money was in Dubai and that the account holder was one Nandana Lokavithana. After they were elected, Nandana Lokavithana was given by the ministry overseeing the BOI under the Minister Malik Samaravikrama several concessions that included the building of a tyre factory in Horana, and the Prime Minister himself inspected this. And we mustn't forget about Spevil Lanka. This is a company that Malik Samaravikrama was in and out of, holding directorships and the shareholder. And in fact, when we visited the site, one employee told us at one stage, ask your questions from Malik Mahathir.
So for us now, with Malik Samaravikrama at the center of this issue, we must move on to the next point of the central bank treasury bond issue, especially on the investigations before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry. Now that starts with the footnote gang. Now if we are to move there for us, as you can see here, we have several members of COPE.
Indeed.
And these members were the people, well, they are some of the people who added the footnotes into the COPE report. Now, chairman of COPE, MP Sunil Hadunetti, was once forced to storm out of the COPE sitting because of the pressure that was exerted on him by the members of the United National Party inside COPE who wanted to add footnotes. Now, for us, if you look here, we have Hector Puhami. During COPE sittings, there was 23 calls between him and Arjun Aloysius. Sujiva Senasinghe, 63 calls.
That's right.
And well, he says that those calls were made to get clarifications and information for his book, which was published way before COPE was appointed.
But the book was written a year before that.
Indeed, for us. And then we have Ashit P. Pereira, 2 calls during COPE. Now, for us, Deputy Minister Ajit P. Pereira, speaking today at a press conference, said that those who criticized their conduct in COPE, especially of adding the footnotes, must apologize. And I think someone responded to that statement as well.
Indeed, they did.
And that was none other than Chairman of COPE, Sunil Handunnetti. Let's have a listen to those statements.
The report states all 32 footnotes are in accordance with the evidence. The arguments of the UNP MPs is now correct. Therefore, if anyone is criticizing or insulting the UNP COPA members, they must apologize. If these people who insulted us for their political gains cannot apologize in public, they must at least apologize in silence. The bond scam rogues and the rogues who wanted to protect the other rogues have messed up. The group who wanted to support Ranil and protect Arjun Mahendran and added footnotes are weeping in parliament and media briefings. They say the Presidential Commission has said the footnotes are correct. Therefore, their footnotes are correct. They reiterate there was no scam, and if there is a scam, it can be punished. But they don't want anyone to say the footnotes are wrong. That's absurd. The people who added footnotes to the COPE report did not want to punish anyone over this scam. They did not want to punish the rogues. They wanted to protect and save the rogues. They claim the Commission has said footnotes are correct. I inquired, have I got it wrong, or has the Presidential Commission got it wrong? Footnotes were added to bring disrepute to the COPE report and save the rogues. When Arjun Mahendran is saved, Ranil is also saved. That is why the footnotes gang added the footnotes. They say since the footnotes are correct, the findings of the Presidential Commission are wrong. If the Presidential Commission says Arjun Mahendran and Arjun Aloysius are guilty, according to these people, it's wrong because the Presidential Commission says the footnotes are correct. This is the same argument they brought when we were in COPE. Now they are preparing to save the rogues. This is a failed attempt made by them, just like trying to pick up a grain from a pit full of feces.
Now, just who are these footnote club members? Who are
That's
they?
right, for us, let's check them out right here. These 9 members are known as a footnote gang. They are the UNP members who added these footnotes that MP Sunil Handunnetti speaks about in his statement to the COPE report. Now for us, if you take a look at a whole picture, with including the report of the Auditor General that was given to COPE, and that was his report was actually used to ascertain the loss. Now the loss from this bond scam is astronomical, and it gets even worse when the maturity period reaches of these bonds, or when the bonds mature.
We're talking about the future of the generations to come after us.
Not only that, for us, as you said, the future generations, their future aspirations are at risk, and now the country's reputation is also at risk because of this incident, because when you go overseas, many people question what has happened to your central bank.
Absolutely. So when you look at all of this, one thing is absolutely clear. It is those who are involved in the scam who need to apologize to the nation, and apologize most profusely and sincerely.
And not the other way around.
Absolutely.
Now for us, MP Uday Gamanpilla, who represents the United People's Freedom Alliance, speaking to reporters yesterday, made a very startling statement about something that we have been speaking hard on over a period of time. Now that is the hurried construction of the 3rd phase of the Central Expressway.
Absolutely. And he said, and we've reported on some of these aspects before, that a loan of nearly $1 billion US was obtained, but the insurance premium on that was 10.07%, an astronomically high rate considering that it was in single digits even during and soon after the war ended. And that loan was through the Mitsubishi Tokyo Bank of Japan, and where, according to Mr. Gamanpilla, Arjun Aloysius was the local agent for. And we need to have a look about all the other banks and all the other loans that were obtained.
You mean internationally?
Internationally. Let's perhaps listen to Mr. Gamanpilla's statement today.
මධ්‍යම අධිවේගී මාර්ගයේ පොතුහැර සිට ගලගෙදර දක්වා තිබෙන කිලෝ
A loan of 138 billion rupees has been taken from the Tokyo Mitsubishi Bank in Japan for the construction of 32 kilometers of the Central Expressway from Potuhara to Galagedera. When a loan is given by a bank, and if the bank sees a risk in recovering the loan, it is insured. Following the end of the war, the insurance rate was somewhere between 2 to 5%. However, this loan has an insurance rate of 10%. That means 14 billion rupees. Arjun Aloysius is the local representative of the Tokyo Mitsubishi Bank that held talks with the government of Sri Lanka. For any overseas loan, the Monetary Board must give its approval considering how it will favour the country. The Monetary Board is where Arjun Aloysius' father-in-law was serving as the chair, and it's in the central bank where the father-in-law was the governor. This insurance rate and loan is approved by the Monetary Board. This is the second part of the bond scam. The two main actors in part 1 are also playing a role in the second part.
පළවෙනි කොටසේ හිටිය ප්‍රධාන නළුව දෙන්නම තමයි දෙවෙනි කොටසේ රංගපාන්නේ.
Well, as MP Udaya Gammanpila said, it appears those who were involved in the bond scam are also involved in other irregularities.
Indeed, it is absolutely clear that this bond scam was well orchestrated, and above all, it was premeditated, and it has cost the country billions of rupees, and the future generations' future is at stake. And therefore, it is absolutely essential that everybody rallies around His Excellency the President in his quest to rid this country of the cancer of corruption.
Indeed, for us, as you mentioned, corruption is indeed cancer. The news continues.